same profile. All young, late teens, early 20s. Pretty.
Yeah, they're all extraordinary in some way.
Only 2 bodies have been found. The killer left a note first at the second murder scene. Signed to Casanova.
Casanova, a great lover.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Screenstars. I'm here today to bring you my review for the 1997 classic serial killer thriller Kiss the Girls. The film is directed by Gary Fleder and it stars Morgan Freeman, Ashley Judd, Carrie Ells, we have Tony Goldwyn, J.O. Sanders and Bill Nunn, along with Brian Cox. Right, okay, Morgan Freeman plays Dr. Alex Cross. And he is a criminal psychologist, very, very talented, and he learns that his niece, Naomi, has been abducted by a renowned serial killer called Casanova. He heads up there in order to lend his expertise to try and catch this serial killer and get his niece back. And along the way, Ashley Judd's character, Kate McTiernan, a headstrong, strong, independent woman who is also captured by Casanova, manages to escape and teams up with Morgan Freeman in order to try and figure out and track down this serial killer before it's too late. Right. What are my thoughts on Kiss the Girls? I've always been a bit of a fan of this one. Now, this is in the 90s, this film, and the definitive decade for serial killer films, I don't think anybody would argue differently, was the 90s. There was a long list of fabulous serial killer films in the 90s, and right at the top of that list was Silence of the Lambs and Seven. Now, obviously, Morgan Freeman was in Seven. He was never going to top Seven, but this actually did so well. We got a sequel. So Morgan Freeman returned in a second Alex Cross film called Along Came a Spider, I believe it was called, which I have seen, but I don't remember a great deal about. But I do remember it being not as good as this. Now, I think when you watch this, because I rewatched this, I watched it on Netflix. It's on Netflix. So when I rewatched this, and it's a good long time since I'd seen this, I did really, really enjoy it. But it is so obvious, like when you watch it, it follows a very, very particular formula that is quite familiar if you watch a lot of kind of serial killer films. And when you watch it as well, it's got in the film. If you've never seen this film before, I guarantee you, and I'll repeat this, I guarantee you that you will figure out who is the killer within 15, 20 minutes of the film starting. Now, it does try and throw you a twist here. I'm not going to spoil this film, even though it's a 1997 film, and I suspect many of you watching this review have already seen it. But there may be some of you out there, because it's a little bit of a hidden gem, this, in regards to serial killer films. It's obviously not as well known as the two I've mentioned previously, and maybe some others like The Bone Collector and others, that came out in the 90s. But it is definitely worth checking out. But it does kind of throw a bit of a twist at you, this film. And what I mean by that is the serial killer in this film is called Casanova. And what he does is he abducts women as his playthings, really. He basically thinks he's falling in love with them, and he stores all these women in this awful place. And they've all got particular talents, like one of them can play the cello, I believe it is. Another one's like a gifted surgeon, which is Kate, and so they've all got some kind of particular talent. So he kind of collects them, really, these special women, and tries to make them fall in love with him. Now, so this when you hear this Casanova speak, what they do, which is quite clever, is they give him a different voice for someone else in the film. It's a bit of a red herring, so that you think another person is Casanova killer that's in the film as well. So there's two actors in this film that you look at and you think bad guys. they're always bad guys generally in movies. So you're kind of thinking, right, okay, well, you're the killer. And it's kind of one or the other. And it tries to throw a little bit of a twist at you, but it's wholly predictable. Now, I want to talk a little bit here about Ashley Judd. Now, Ashley Judd was, well, she still is, but in the 90s, she was an excellent actress, up and coming. She was doing a lot of movies. Unfortunately, she kind of got, I don't know, Harvey Dickhead Weinstein, if you like, kind of disrupted her career for reasons that I'm not going to go into here because he's an arsehole. But she was very, very popular in the 90s and her career kind of fell off. And I think she's really excellent in this. She plays a very, very strong character, strong female character in this film. The one that, if it was made today, everyone would be like, "Oh, we got a strong female character." They just didn't sing about it or shout about it when they made a strong female character in, before like 5 years ago. You just kind of did it, and there were plenty of them in movies. Just people chose not to kind of highlight it. And she's an excellent character here. I mean, she is fiercely independent, fiercely strong, and takes no crap from anybody. And she's a very, very good character in this film. I really like her portrayal of this Kate in this film. And Morgan Freeman is silky smooth as Alex Cross here. Now, I know that they tried to bring Alex Cross back a few years ago. I can't remember the name of the actor that played him, but it flopped massively, I believe. I think Matthew Fox played the killer in that one. But it was a great idea to cast Morgan Freeman, really, as Alex Cross in this film because he was at the height of his fame in the 90s. Really classy actor, and he really pulls this part off absolutely fantastically well, and he's got great chemistry with Ashley Judd as well. And so you've got a memorable serial killer here that will genuinely give you the creeps. I watched this, like say, on Netflix with my wife, and my wife had never seen this before, and she was really creeped out by him. He really wound her up, actually, because he was just such an arse, really. This serial killer, completely and utterly deluded. So the film, I think, manages to carry off the mystery for a big chunk of the film. For me, I honestly think if you watch a lot of these movies, and especially some of the actors that are in this that we know historically that what kind of characters they played in these movies at this time and for years following, I don't think you're going to be struggling to figure out, who's the killer here in this film, or who's connected, or who's involved, or whatever you want to call it. It ain't going to take, really, a lot of effort for you to figure it out. But I think this is a really nicely made serial killer film. It's very entertaining to watch. Great performances, some creepy moments, and it's got that investigation stuff going on in it. Sometimes you watch these movies and there's just not enough of that in these type of films. There's plenty of it here in this, and yeah, it kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat from beginning to end. And I think it's one of the strong ones from the 90s. It's absolutely a very solid serial killer movie. So I hope you enjoyed this review. Thank you very much for watching. I will, of course, be back with plenty more reviews and content on the channel very, very soon.